ourselves feel better about the bad things that our teams did. But Ohio State and Michigan are both in the books for the first game of the year, and there were some question marks on both sides. But Matt, how are you doing on this holiday weekend?
I'm salty as hell.
Yeah, anyone wearing the colors that you're wearing right now are probably woke up probably on the wrong side of the bed, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm mad for two reasons. Number one, with the clock changes, we're getting less football and more commercials, which is even worse. I'm probably more angry about that than how bad our offense played.
The clock changes.
Yeah,
I'm not. I mean, I can see why high-powered offenses are probably upset about that clock change because it's less plays for them. For someone like a Michigan who milks the clock, I mean, Michigan starts running out the clock in the middle of the second quarter. So for them, that's probably a great thing. Or I saw some comments about just bad teams. Who was complaining about the clock changes? You just sent a text about it. Was it?
Oh, TCU coach.
TCU head coach. Yeah, that's why they lost. It wasn't because of
but that was at halftime. He said that at halftime. I don't think that was after the game was over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everyone was complaining about it even before. You saw after the first few games on week 0, there's a lot fewer plays. So it's just, as a fan of football, there's two reasons. As a fan of football, you want more football, less commercials. We're getting the opposite. And then number two, it sort of goes against, you have all these records that have been in the record books for years and years and years. And now it's going to be harder to be able to, break records these days, even with higher-powered offenses, because we're going to have so much fewer plays now. It's just going to be annoying.
Yeah, very true. So, hey, there's a scarlet and gray big elephant in the room right now. So let's just start with that. Let's talk about the Ohio State offense. How are you feeling going into the game, and then compare that to how you felt after the game. Just for my own personal enjoyment, I want to hear.
Okay, so I think when I was talking previously, I thought my biggest concern. I figured that our defense is going to be good this year. We still don't know how good it's going to be because we haven't played an offense with a pulse yet. But offensively, I was like, well, we have a lot of skill position talent. I figured that the quarterback's not going to matter that much, and I still don't think it matters that much when you have that kind of skill talent. But I think the thing that's really been annoying me is, we've just missed out on so many elite offensive tackle recruits the last 3 years, and I knew that, especially having 2 tackles leave early, we knew Paris was going to go early, but we didn't know DeJuan Jones was going to go early. So losing him, and then also our center, so losing 3 guys early was rough. But I think at center, we'll probably be okay. But, losing the tackles and not having anybody in the pipeline that's ready to go, we have a freshman, but the guys, we're getting people transfers from Boston College that are trashy. We're not getting elite transfers to come in here and play tackle. And you just see what happens. Even we were giving up a lot of sacks, but we were not able to get anything going on 3rd and short and 4th and short, especially 3rd and short. I think we made a few 4th downs, but 3rd and short, we couldn't do anything. And just lots of our plays were just getting blown up. Either we get a big run play, or we just get blown up in the backfield. There was a ton of runs that were tackled in the backfield, as they got the ball. And the quarterback too. When the backup quarterback came in, when Brown was trying to play, he got tackled immediately before he could even try to run for anything. So it was sort of. I think, and also before the game even started, I think I was also a little bit even more concerned because I saw the Florida game, and Florida wasn't supposed to be great this year. Their average. I think Vegas had them at 5 or 6 wins projected this year, and they probably have decent skill talent, but their offensive line was complete trash. And I was like, imagine what Ohio State's going to be with a whole new makeover offensive line and and a new starting quarterback coming in with no time to do anything. But really, it didn't seem like he was under too much duress with the passing game. It's just our drives got cut short. We weren't able to pick up 3rd downs. Our 3rd down completion or 3rd down conversion rate was just abysmal because, you can't have a consistent running game. You're not going to be able to do anything. Your drives are just going to be too short. So offensive line and our tight end also, I know Stover, on a couple where he was motioning over and he was supposed to try to block the defensive end, he just was whipping left and right. So it wasn't just the line, the tight end wasn't blocking either. So just up front, blocking was just a complete disaster. And I don't know how much of it is lack of skill or, a lot of these people are, they're new. Our left tackle was starting at right tackle for a smaller school last year. So at least he's had starting experience, just not at left tackle, and our right tackle's new. So, it's just too much inexperience, and I think lack of talent too on the offensive line. And I think, with what I saw on that line, I don't know how we're gonna beat Michigan, Penn State, and Notre Dame this year. I mean, maybe Notre Dame, but the other ones in Wisconsin too. I think it's gonna be tough.
Heck yeah, it is. Yeah. So when I came into the game, I've been super optimistic about the Ohio State offense all year. I mean, I was thinking like the floor for the Ohio State quarterback, and it could still be this way. It's just the first game, but the floor was going to be like all Big Ten quarterback, and it still could be that way. But it really did look like all the same problems from like the last 2 to 3 years are still popping up. Short yardage, Travion. I think I counted 3 times he got tackled behind the line of scrimmage. I think he had a couple bursts, but like same old problems, like up by the red zone, like still having problems in the red zone. And
Chip Trainum did well though running.
Chip Trainum, yeah, he's everyone's.
He's the new star running back.
But yeah, I know the offensive line, it does affect that. And going back to the quarterbacks, like I was thinking that we were going to see a heck of a lot more Devin Brown. I mean, just because of what we've been hearing all in the offseason. Like I know Zach Smith said, hey, you heard that Devin Brown was going to be the starter. And I totally believe him. I'm sure
I think he got one pass attempt the whole game.
Yeah, one pass attempt that was broken up. I'm sure Zach Smith was probably right about that at the time when he saw it. He's a former coach at Ohio State. He has insider knowledge. He calls people. I mean, I'm sure he was right about that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he was saying like Devin Brown had won, both the scrimmages and looked better, rated out better than Kyle McCord. But then it just happened that after that, like how do you like in the actual scrimmages, or like the game time equivalent, how do you win those? And then like in the week after that, the week and a half after that, Kyle McCord is just more consistent in just practice drills. So practice drills mean more than like the game environment.
Yeah, I mean it's bizarre. Honestly, it's really bizarre. And so like I was thinking we would probably see like half and half almost, or at least some Devin Brown in the second quarter. And I know they did run him at one point, but he got tackled behind the line of scrimmage. And
like right when he ran, he got tackled immediately.
Yeah, and so and you could see there was one play I remember the announcer said that McCord completely missed Marvin Harrison Jr. on a deep pass that would have been a touchdown. So my guess is maybe Kyle McCord, and maybe he'll do better, like from one game to the next between now and Notre Dame. But like it really seemed like he was missing things. Like for a guy this is his 3rd year in the program, a 5-star quarterback, and the guy that was named the starting quarterback by Ryan Day just seems like he shouldn't be missing things like that right now, and it could be rough. This is the first time that I've thought, like it didn't even cross my mind, that the growing pains might affect them in a way that could actually give them some unexpected losses.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of it was on the quarterback. I know, like, Marvin Harrison went out of bounds and then came back in on his touchdown catch that they waved off. And, he missed one, but, like everyone's going to miss a pass here and there. But I think the bigger issue was just not being able to sustain any kind of drive because the running game was, very inconsistent. It was either, big runs or nothing behind the line losses that lost, multiple times. So, I think if they can get the running game going a little bit, then I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just the consistency, I mean, like they just need a little bit of consistency on the blocking and figure out maybe some scheme that works better than whatever they were doing yesterday, which was not working at all.
Yeah, very true. And I was thinking that as far as Devin Smith goes, like how many snaps did he get? 2?
I think Devin had one series where he didn't get to throw any balls at all, and then I think he might have gotten one other series later in the game where he did throw one pass and it was incomplete, and then he tried to run once and hand off once. So,
man, it really seems like Ryan Day, the quarterback whisperer, should be doing some things that maybe Jim Harbaugh has been doing the last couple of years, is getting in your 5-star awesome next up quarterbacks into games. I feel
Ohio State fans have been saying that for a while, like with last year, we were just keeping our quarterback in until way near the end of the game. And then when we would bring McCord in, he would just hand off the ball. So he wasn't getting any practice, which I never understood. I don't care how much you're up. You let your backups get some actual passes in the game so they can get ready.
Yeah, totally. So, like, what were the numbers? Kyle McCord, he had 20 of 33. That's a little over 60% passing and 239 and an interception. Not the type of day that you would probably expect for the starting quarterback against Indiana for Ohio State. But
he also had a bomb that was dropped. That was a perfect pass.
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember seeing.
Yeah, that one wasn't on him. I sent a picture of it this morning. The guy went right through his hands. So it was like a 40-yard bomb, and it would have been a touchdown. Another 20 yards probably after that. But yeah, I mean, receivers got to make those catches too. So it's not just on him. Like I don't know. I don't think he played that bad. I think he was fine. Yeah. Our offensive line was just trash.
Well, you know what? Maybe he didn't play that bad. It is kind of like what the expectation level might need to be. I mean, maybe they don't have another first-round quarterback on the roster right now. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that it's a little early to be saying that. I mean, I know the sugarcoating part. We can basically kind of say, well, it's the first game. Players generally make their biggest leap between game 1 and game 2. It's his first time being the man at quarterback. I know did he play against Akron last year or the year before?
2 years ago.
As a true freshman and looked great?
Yeah.
I thought he looked great.
I don't think he looked great. He got 300 yards, but I don't think he looked great in that game.
Okay. I remember he was throwing to some really, really good quarterback or really, really good wide receivers. So
I mean, against Akron, I thought it was average, but I think the issue was, he had a good offensive line that year.
Maybe that's true.
This year we don't.
I don't remember seeing Kyle McCord running for his life in pass protection. It really did seem a lot like
just the running game
missing guys or not seeing the field. Because I know that Emeka Ibuka and also Marvin Harrison Jr., they haven't forgotten how to run routes. Guessing they were scheming those receivers open. I don't think it had to have been that McCord just wasn't seeing them open. Because if you could take CJ out of the NFL right now and put him in that game and insert him, he's probably finding the receivers, right? I mean, I would have to believe that. So
he would have been, but again, like there still would have been a lot of drives ending because you have the running game that can't. It wasn't just third down conversions either. It was like, there was plenty of first downs where you get a negative play on the running game. That just puts you behind the chains immediately off the start. So, it was that plus not being able to pick up third downs on short games. So, obviously CJ he's had a lot of experience and he was the best, highest ranked quarterback we've ever had. So you don't just go and replace him with a rookie and expect the same thing. So that's why I'm not like super concerned about the quarterback position, even though obviously there's going to be a drop off with a new quarterback after the best quarterback we've ever had. But, if we can just get a little consistency blocking, then, hopefully we'll be all right.
Maybe a little consistency. There you go. And I would say we already touched on the running backs. So if I was going to sugarcoat this offensive performance, I guess I would just say it's the first game, and you still have Marvin Harrison Jr., awesome receivers. McCord is probably going to figure it out. But what do you think? What do you think is going to happen with him and Devin Smith? Do you think it's McCord? Because I had the feeling, like watching the game and listening to Ryan Day, McCord is the quarterback, unless something drastic happens. Otherwise, if it was really, really that close between McCord and Brown would have got some more time today.
Yeah, I don't know. It definitely seemed weird that he wasn't getting any play time, but I don't know. I'm just not super concerned about quarterback. I don't, no matter who it is, I think that it'll be fine as long as our offense is going to either go or not go based on whether our offensive line can figure something out. But I just don't know if there's enough talent there. I don't know how much of it's just not figuring out versus not having the talent there at tackle. Like you can't just teach a tackle to be good if he's not. We've been recruiting elite 5-star talent at tackle or developing him. Like DeJuan Jones wasn't a highly rated guy, but he's a monster. I mean, he's just so big, and I don't know. He was criminally underrated. Like that guy was a beast.
Yeah, Who got him in the NFL draft? Was it the Browns?
Yeah. They drafted him late, and he hasn't given up like one pressure all preseason.
They got a steal. But yeah, I mean, I'm all right with that. Let's wait and see on the quarterback position. I think we're good with doing that. I'm more concerned with it than I ever thought I would be based on that game against Indiana. But let's wait and see. We'll do that. So, let's switch topics. Let's go to the Wolverines. So, the good first. How about this? Like J.J. McCarthy, I don't know if you saw that game. He was throwing NFL bombs, man. His passes were beautiful. Like, I feel like there's definitely a level up that happened. I don't know what he talked about having a bad shoulder last year. He's coming off his surgery that affected him. I don't know if that's really true, but whatever clicked or whatever happened, at least in that game. And I know it was just East Carolina defense. We can always talk about the defense, but you can always tell if something's better or if something got worse. You can usually have that feeling based on what happened. And man, 26 of 30, 280 yards in 2.5 quarters, 3 touchdowns, man. And the way he threw those touchdowns were beautiful.
They pulled him out in the third quarter?
The end of the third quarter, they pulled him out. But it was the last drive was a lot of running. They were trying to get Donovan Edwards, really, I think maybe a touchdown.
Did he ever get going? At halftime, he had 5 carries for 5 yards.
Yeah, that's the bad. Hey, let's focus on the good.
I like to focus on the bad.
I know you do. I like to focus on the bad for Ohio State too. But it's looking really good at quarterback right now.
How was Corum?
Corum was tentative. He seemed the running game. If we're going to the bad now, because I think that's the way I see you going.
Yes, I think
the run blocking was not good. Pass protection for the offensive line was great. JJ had a lot of time. He would jump around a little bit and move around just to throw it, find those passing lanes. But I mean, the run blocking was not very physical. It didn't look like it did last year by any means. There's no way they're winning that award again. But the offensive line, the best offensive line in the country, not happening. But they might make up for it with the passing game. And it really does look like they're trying to be 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corum had one long run, and he had, like, I would say probably he looked pretty good, but Donovan Edwards and him both looked very tentative, and I think it had to do with the offensive line. It really was. Looks like we lost Matt here, but oh well. He'll jump back on here, I'm sure. But it was not great. I was looking at that running game. I was expecting something a lot better. I was expecting for Donovan Edwards to have a lot more explosive plays. I was expecting Blake Corum to be back to form. It's understandable that he's not, because he generally just hasn't. He's coming off surgery. He's probably tentative, but I do think that Donovan Edwards was a little bit of a disappointment, especially in that last third quarter drive. They couldn't pop it into the end zone. They needed 4 downs against East Carolina. That offensive line, the talent at running back, really was just kind of an issue. But you know what? As far as the sugarcoat goes, I will say that maybe the next game that offensive line will gel a little more. We do have 2 new tackles. The inside is pretty much the same, I believe. Well, and we even have a new center too. So maybe that was the part of the problem. 3 new offensive linemen were really out there. So I think that we're going to have probably a level up. Maybe we'll see it next week. I think Michigan plays UNLV, but yeah, there you go. There's not a lot to be upset about with regard to Michigan. I think the first 3 quarters were great, other than the running game. The last quarter, Michigan, all they did was they just ran the ball. I think they threw the ball once. So Jim Harbaugh loves to get like a bunch of different guys into these games. He brags about it. He always says, "Hey, we played 78 guys yesterday in the game," and he just loves that. He's not trying to give anyone Heisman moments in the fourth quarter against overmatched teams. So it's just kind of is what it is. So Yeah, I think it's good. I wish we had Matt here to talk about it, because then he could chime in with his banter about Ohio State and Michigan. But, hey, there you go. But in any case, that's kind of like our overall, maybe like just kind of short, sugar-coated show right after the day. And I think this is going to be really fantastic. I think both teams are going to have a really good year. I think that the Buckeyes, I'm a little scared for them against Notre Dame right now. I think if they played Notre Dame right now, Notre Dame probably win, especially at Notre Dame. This could get ugly, and it's probably the first time I even gave Notre Dame a chance. I've been saying all year, like leading up to this, that there's no chance that Notre Dame is going to beat Ohio State. No way. Too much talent for Ohio State. Notre Dame is just always overrated. But man, Sam Hartman, I think him versus if Kyle McCord or Devin Brown doesn't step up and start leveling up their game before then, that could easily be an Ohio State loss. And I never thought that I'd be saying that. So, any case, we lost Matt. I think we'll end this a little bit early. We'll probably jump on later on this week for maybe a deeper dive. Probably talk about the upcoming games later on this week too. So thanks so much. Please like and subscribe and make sure to do that. And we love having everyone. So great to be back with college football starting. We'll talk to y'all soon.